Top 10 Craziest Conspiracy Theories. Hey guys, what is up? I'm Charlotte, and for this video, we're gonna look at some of the most widely believed conspiracy theories ever. People do let their minds run away with them, and some claim to see patterns and clues when there's really nothing there. Marina Joyce. Some would say though, where there's smoke, there's fire, and it's really interesting to wonder if these conspiracy theories could be true. Let's get into this video. Alright, starting things off at number 10, the Illuminati. The Illuminati conspiracy theory basically suggests that the world's elite, that includes corporations, the governments, celebrities, are all either in control of the world or trying to take control of the world. Which I know we all feel might be the case sometimes, but I don't know, it might not be true. The Illuminati started as an organization under Jesuit priests. The Illuminati is supposed to be who's behind global politics, religion, and the economy. Many think organizations like the UN, the World Bank, and the International Court are all extensions of the Illuminati. Conspiracy theorists believe the Illuminati are trying to brainwash us by means of the media, politics, and educational systems. But the existence of the Illuminati has never really been proven. Is that because they don't want you to know? I don't know. Next on our list at number 9 is the Freemasons. In the second half of the 19th century, it was claimed by many conspiracy theorists that the Freemasons were plotting to take over the world. It was widely thought that there was a secret coalition of Jews and Masons. This was because of a forged document called the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. This document appeared in the Russian Empire, which claims to expose a Jewish conspiracy theory. The theory suggests that the Jews infiltrated Freemasonry and were using the organization to fulfill their aims of world domination. The Freemasons do exist though. They date back all the way to the Middle Ages. In Europe in medieval times, many believe that the Jews killed Jesus and consumed the blood of Christians, which is funny because human and animal blood are not kosher, so Jews would not have consumed them. Okay, so moving along now to New World Order at number 8. This is a completely separate theory from the Illuminati and the Freemasons, but it's got some similarities. So the theory surrounding New World Order also suggests that the world is being controlled by the world's elite. It is believed that they dominate the world through central banking. It is thought that they are the cause of the world's wars over the last 200 years, and they also control the stock market. Many believe that this group of people supported the rise of Nazism, created the Federal Reserve Act, and supported the Bolshevik Revolution. Okay, so here's where it gets spooky. If you look at the Great Seal of the United States, the reverse side has the Latin phrase Novus Ordo Seclorum. It's been the seal since 1782, and it directly translates to New Order of the Ages. The conspiracy theory gained a lot of popularity after George H.W. Bush referred to his dream of a new world order during a speech to the United States Congress in 1990. Alrighty, next up at number 7 is the conspiracy theory that the moon landing was faked. There are many conspiracy theorists that believe that the Apollo moon landings were actually staged, or that they're concealing what happened during the actual landing from the public. People have examined footage from the Apollo missions to try and debunk them, looking at things like light and shadows and trying to figure out if it really did happen. Many have also claimed that the astronauts on the Apollo mission came across a human skeleton and footprints on the moon. There were 2 satirical news stories published on it, and there was also a book written called Inherit the Stars by James Hogan. Next on our list at number 6 is the Governments Cover-Up of Extraterrestrials. It is widely believed that the world's governments are hiding the existence of aliens from us. Many conspiracy theorists believe that the United States government actually conspires with extraterrestrials, and together they abduct and manipulate humans. One of the places they apparently do this is known as Area 51 in the Nevada desert. Area 51's current purpose is unknown, but at one point it was very possibly used for testing experimental weapons and aircraft. It then became a focus of modern UFO conspiracy theories. If you guys are really interested in finding out more about that theory, watch the documentary Dreamland directed by Bruce Burgess. He interviews a man who claimed to be a former employee at Area 51, who says that he was working on an aircraft that was modeled after a crashed alien UFO. Alright, next conspiracy theory on our list is Elvis Is Not Dead at number 5. This theory is probably the most famous surrounding a celebrity. So here's the theory. Even though Elvis Presley's death was announced on August 16, 1977, there's a lot of people who believe that he didn't actually die. Many believe that he faked his own death and disappeared. Some said that he was hiding because he and his family received a numerous amount of death threats. Elvis's cause of death has been pretty wishy-washy too. At first it was reported as a heart attack, that he died on a toilet, and then it changed to an accidental drug overdose. And then one of his family members said that Elvis actually committed suicide. Over the last 40 years, pictures of possible Elvis sightings have surfaced of elderly men who could look like Elvis. Not only that, but Elvis's father ordered the autopsy and death certificate to be immediately sealed. It won't be available to the public until 2027. Elvis would be 81 years old if he was still alive today. Next conspiracy theory at number 4 is that George W. Bush was responsible for 9/11, or knew about 9/11 before it happened. When Bush heard about the planes crashing into the World Trade Center, he was reading a children's story aloud in a classroom, and he continued reading it even though the United States was going through a history-changing act of war. Conspiracy theorists believe that he didn't react because he knew 9/11 was coming, and it was all part of an agenda to invade Afghanistan and then Iraq for some weird reason, which could quite possibly be the rich oil fields. Right now, our next conspiracy theory that was widely believed by the public was that John F. Kennedy was assassinated by the CIA. According to author James Douglas, the CIA assassinated President Kennedy because he didn't want to participate in the Cold War and wanted to negotiate peace with the Soviet Union. The only suspect, Harvey Lee Oswald, was murdered before he could be tried. There was a lot of discussion after JFK's death that he didn't have adequate security that day in Dallas when he was assassinated. Why that is not clear. A recent account by one of JFK's former security team members claims that JFK was assassinated by one of his own guards. He only told the secret to his son and filmmaker Oliver Stone. If you guys want to hear more about it, check out the video we did last week on the JFK assassination. Getting close now, at number 2, Paul is dead. This has to be one of my favorite theories. Paul is dead is an urban legend that claims that Paul McCartney of the Beatles died in 1966 and was actually being impersonated by a doppelganger. The craziest thing is that the Beatles knew that their fans had started this theory and they played into it a little bit. Many of the Beatles albums covers have jokes about Paul being dead. He had no shoes on the Abbey Road cover, and on the Sgt. Pepper cover he was the only Beatle wearing black. Another clue was that fans apparently heard supposed messages when they played Beatles records backwards. Apparently when you play Strawberry Fields Forever backwards, you can hear John Lennon say "I buried Paul." The Beatles released statements on October 21st, 1969, and they called the rumor a load of rubbish. Oh well, it was fun while it lasted. Alright guys, the number 1 conspiracy theory on our list. Bob Marley was given carcinogenic shoes by the CIA. Bob Marley died prematurely at the age of 36. He was not only a musician but an activist. His official cause of death on paper was melanoma cancer, but there are some who believe that that was just a cover-up. In 1976, rival political factions were hashing it out, and Bob Marley was a figurehead calling for peace in Jamaica through his music. He was incredibly influential and therefore dangerous. There was an assassination attempt on Bob Marley in 1976, where 3 gunmen burst into Marley's home and opened fire at Bob, his wife, and friends. Bob was only shot in the arm, but was saved by his manager, Don Taylor, who took most of the bullets that were supposed to be for Bob Marley. No one was ever held responsible for Marley's attempted murder. After this attempt, there was some talk that the CIA wanted to, quote, finish him off. He was set to play a festival and only a few people knew where he and his band were backstage. A man somehow made it past security and gave Bob Marley a pair of boots. When Bob tried them on, he let out a scream. When they looked in the boot, they saw a piece of pointed copper in the toe that some conspiracy theorists think had a carcinogenic toxin on. The wounded toe is what eventually led to Marley's death. The wound became cancerous, and the cancer spread from his toe to the rest of his body. Anyways guys, that is all for now. Hope you found that video interesting. It was definitely fun to research. Did you agree with me? Did you not? What was your favorite conspiracy theory? Let me know in the comments below. If you guys want to keep watching IO, click one of these 2 videos floating right over here.